Hi guys, it's been a long time. I'm actually in Sherwood Forest in England, home of Robin Hood. and look at these. I actually don't only hang out in the forest, even though on my YouTube channel, a lot of my videos happen to be there. But I guess that's when inspiration strikes. So, what I was thinking about just now is one of the complexities and the tricky things about being committed to personal growth and watching your own thoughts, observing your own thoughts and your own rhythms. And there's a trap that I've noticed that can come up. And I've seen this in myself, and it's quite easy to see this in other people too. Um, and to call it a trap is maybe a little bit overdoing it because um, it's more of just the facts of life, really. But it is, in effect, a trap because it can trap you by thinking you know what's going on with yourself. So I would call this something that can really cause problems for those of us who do like to do inner work and to observe ourselves and are on some kind of a spiritual journey. But you can almost get a little bit ahead of yourself in thinking you know what's going on. So I've had times where I start kind of spinning out into a period of anxiety or being kind of unhappy or sometimes being in a really great mood that feels almost a little too great. And then eventually I come around and I realize, oh, I think I know what's going on here. And I realize that I'm in a different mode than what I thought I was. So let me describe this by saying a triangle. Now, picture a triangle. Now, if I was going to do this with some graphic, I could make it look a little bit nicer and like put it on the screen. Maybe one day I'll do that if I make another video about this. But it's not a difficult thing to imagine. Just visualize like, I can't really do it while I hold this, but okay, I definitely can't do it. This is part of the triangle. Then imagine that filled in over here. So just a regular equilateral triangle, right? And at the top you would have being in good states of mind or positivity, let's say. In the lower left of the triangle, you would have negativity or darker states of mind. And on the bottom right of the triangle, we have it doesn't even belong to me. And so, again, the top of the triangle is being happy, being pleased, being elated, being content, being relaxed, feeling peaceful, chill, all that. The bottom left side of the triangle is I'm really angry, I'm depressed, I'm anxious, I'm freaking out, I don't want to live life anymore. I think I'm just going to go get drunk. I think I'm just going to go into some kind of maladaptive daydreaming where I stare out the window, ruminating for like 2 hours. Whatever your vice of choice is, or maybe a screaming match with your partner, arguing over things that don't matter. That's all the lower left. Then the other corner again is stuff that doesn't even belong to you. So here's how it looks like, just to introduce this. If you find yourself in like a terrible mood, you know, there's a possibility because at each place where you find yourself, no matter what's going on with you emotionally, the point is that it could be a sign that you actually are genuinely experiencing what you're feeling, and that's great. So if you're happy, you're actually happy. You know, you're actually in a great mood. Nothing wrong with that. If you're sad or upset or whatever, it could be that you really are going through that because you're bringing something to the surface, and those emotions are there to guide you and carry some information about, you know, something that you're dealing with. So if you're angry at someone, it could be because that person's not healthy for you. It could be because it's a signpost for some trauma you've been carrying for a long time that you haven't been able to heal yet. So you're getting angry at them because they've triggered you, and you need to see your own triggers, right? You need to see what bothers you. So therefore you could say that that negative emotion has a place. It is actually there for a reason. But, you know, you could also be a situation where that negativity is coming from someone else. It's someone else's emotions that you've picked up. Literally, as an empath, you could have picked up a stray fragment from someone else, and their thoughts become your thoughts. It could be someone you really don't know, like a stranger, or it could be a friend or family member who you interact with, and you've empathically taken on their stuff. Or it could be just the world at large, you know, what the world is going through, what the energies around you are going through on a bigger scale. It could be that that is actually what you've absorbed and what you're going through. In all those cases, it's not you, it's not your crap that you're dealing with that's putting you in a terrible mood, you know? And we could also say that if you're in a really great mood, you might have absorbed that from someone else too, or you might have, I don't know, you might have seen a commercial for Disneyland and all of a sudden you want to go to Disneyland, or you might have just taken a giant, I don't know, a giant gulp of some like sugary soda, like a really shitty drink that's not healthy for you. That's kind of a strange example, but I'm saying like we can absorb even what seems to be positive emotions, but if they're coming from a place of ignorance, or they're coming from a place of actually something that's harmful in a way, you don't really want those emotions either, because inevitably they're going to crash because there's some blind spot associated with them that you're not seeing. So even positivity can be toxic, right? And you can go on and talk about toxic positivity in a variety of contexts. So what I'm saying is, with whatever you're feeling, whatever is going on, it could be genuine happiness that is really what it's all about, genuine sadness that it's about, or it could be that it's someone else's impulse that it's all about. And so whatever you're feeling in that triangle where you think you are, it could be the other 2 points as well. So essentially what this does is this ups your observation to a new level, because if you start thinking about this and keep this as a consistent part of your your self-awareness, what you would do is basically, whatever, if you're in a good mood, you would say, this is great, but is there anything that I'm ignoring right now, anything that I'm suppressing that I don't want to look at, that's going to come back and bite me? Or you'd say, is this a good mood that's actually I've only taken on because of some people I was hanging around, which again, I'm not saying it's bad, that would be a bad thing necessarily, but it's a fine line, it's a subtlety. There are actually cases where someone else's positivity might be toxic in a way. And the fact that they're in a really good mood actually means that they're not listening to something you're going through, or they're actually being willfully blind to a real problem. And therefore, you don't really want that positivity because it's fake. It's not based on anything grounded, right? You know, and with negative emotions, absolutely. It could belong to you or it could belong to someone else. A negative emotion could be, again, a sign that you are going through something and you are being triggered and it's worth taking a closer look. But it could also be that, you know, you're not allowing yourself to simply relax and be happy. And so the medicine, if you want to look at it that way, the medicine at that moment might actually be to try to just relax and to say, wait, I can actually dissociate from these emotions. They might not be some huge vital thing I need to pay attention to. Because for some personality types more than others, if you're really into kind of self-examination and doing inner work, you can actually get to the point where you obsessively think that like any negative emotion that comes up is a marker for authenticity. Whereas in reality, that might be preventing you from simply living your life and having fun once in a while, you know, that happens as well. So it's delicate and it's subtle, but each of these things, you want to ask the questions, where is this feeling coming from? This emotional state that I'm in, is this a genuine expression of what's going on with me? Or would it be more genuine if I were in a happy state of mind? Or a negative state of mind? Is that underlying what's going on with me so that I can learn from it? Or maybe this doesn't even belong to me at all. So it's really those three things. I think this also helps get us out of standing up here. It helps getting us out of duality in a sense, because the duality would be to look at only, for most people, it would be only the positive and the negative, and to say that whatever's going on with me, it's either a sign of there's something positive or something negative, something light or something dark, and those are the only options. But the reality is that what's going on with you could also be almost arbitrary in the sense that it doesn't belong to you, or it's an entity that you've absorbed somehow. And so that's a different process to watch that entity and see how it affects you and then release it. Anyway, so that's sort of this triangle of there's actually three things that could be going on in any given moment. And I hope that makes sense. So goodbye from Sherwood Forest, and that's it for now.